You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Don't touch it!
Alright everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Couch Brotatoes. I'm Alex.
This is Cap.
Morrison.
And we are almost there, ladies and gentlemen. 2 more episodes of King of the Hill. I did not realize it was going to be such a trek going into it.
Have we been covering King of the Hill for a year now, or
Almost.
coming up on a year?
I have a feeling at least a year.
Yeah.
Because we started this season right at the beginning of lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we wanted to have something to kind of, always have in our back pocket to talk about. And we were just like, King of the Hill, we'll just do a retrospective on that. That way we've always got a little something.
See, that's what happened during this quarantine. Mike Judge got us through quarantine, guys.
Yeah, basically. and now it's just like, okay. I think it's time for a little
I can proudly
something
say
new.
I didn't have to make bread or just binge watch everything on Amazon and Netflix.
Right?
We only chose one, and we only one series for that, and 13 seasons. It's coming up to an end here, and before we get to that, we get to talk about a lot of things that we didn't like about the later seasons as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
But first, before we do all that, I was able to pull it up here. Our very first episode of the King of the Hill retrospective was May 19th of 2020.
Oh, wow. So not that far off.
Yeah, so nearly a year of King of the Hill content. And before we wrap it up, because the next episode is going to be the trivia showdown.
The culmination.
Yes.
We're making 2020 count.
And so we're going to do that one. So we do really want that to be strictly kind of game show oriented.
Are you ready for the trivia off there, Cap?
Are you ready for the pain?
Oh man.
The propane?
This dude's talking like his cough foo is strong.
I know.
Cough foo, huh?
Yeah. Be like propane. Explosive.
Probably the only bit of news we might have on King of the Hill until we get any sort of official announcement from slashfilm.com. Brent Forrester, which was a co-writer for King of the Hill, saying that they might be bringing it back, and they are in hot negotiations to bring back the series to Fox, and that it would be possibly set 15 years in the future. This is the exact quote from him. He goes, "I'm sure Greg Daniels and Mike Judge will murder me for sharing this, but hell yes, they are in hot negotiations to bring back King of the Hill. The Trump administration made it suddenly very relevant again. The characters have all aged 15 years. The project is so good. Okay, I've said too much."
That's interesting that he brought up that the Trump era made it,
I failed to see how the Trump administration made this show relevant again.
I could probably see it with the whole Republican Party's, laws and stuff that are either being rejected or being forced through. Like, we joke about George.
And by the way, thanks to Paul Rhodes in the Discord for pumping that in there for us.
For sure.
But I could see how the Trump administration is kind of a mirror of the Bush administration, especially the first 4 years.
Yeah.
Sans 9/11. But there's a lot of like shady shit that was being pushed through during the Bush years.
Yeah.
I know we joke about it, because we lived through the Bush years. That was our prime pretty much when we were kids. And
Oh no, I remember seeing the election for, I think, the second term for Bush Jr. Well, sitting in what year would that have been?
2004.
Yeah, 04.
Okay, then what was the first year?
2000.
He went against Al Gore.
Okay, then actually, I remember the first year it happened. We were in a CC's Pizza, and they had it up on the big screen, and we were watching it there.
And like even that was a controversy.
Yeah,
because that Al Gore one.
Because those results, just kind of the coverage of that lasted a whole week because they were still counting in Florida.
Yeah, the hanging chads. And
Yeah.
All I remember is we were eating there. We saw something on the TV, and Mom went, "Okay, good." That's all I remember. I was
Just
like,
okay, good.
yeah, and then I was like, "What?" She's like, "We have a new president. His name is Bush." I was like, "Okay."
And like the whole, I remember the 2004 one very vividly because it's John Kerry and the whole like Vietnam thing for Kerry because Kerry was over there.
Yeah, he had the Purple Heart and everything.
Yeah,
that was like a
'cause he
whole
got shot.
sticking point for him. But everybody,
Yeah.
everybody was just also shitting on Kerry the entire time
Yeah,
too.
because he was a Democrat. Like,
He was a Democrat and basically a rich kid too with
Yeah.
the Hines family.
Yeah, but it's so weird.
But they stopped.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, but they kind of quit poking fun at Republican voters on King of the Hill after 9/11,
Yeah.
and now they're kind of, I guess they're going to bring that kind of dynamic back with, I guess in the real world, the King of the Hill cast, a few of them would have been Trump voters.
If you look at the demographic of Trump voters, you do get
Characters like
you do
that.
get Hank, Boomhauer, Bill, and Dale. Those are the demographic that he targeted.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference was Hank.
Yeah.
Because Hank, would probably be okay, I voted for Trump. And then slowly just like, I'm probably not going to vote for him again.
Yeah.
Because that's what got him. A lot of Republicans went away. A lot of Republicans just left the party.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
But just for them to hinge,
And that happened in George Bush's time too. A lot of them left the party.
but for them to hinge such a thing on the subject, only a few sentences to talk about, the new series,
Yeah.
and they make mention that the Trump administration made it relevant again. That makes me fearful of what the content's going to be, because even though there was shady stuff going on during the Bush administrations, and there may have been tiny bits of it, that wasn't the hook of the show. The hook of the show wasn't a conservative family.
No.
It was a family.
blue-collar
Yeah.
family.
Exactly. Their political leanings really weren't plot points in a lot of the episodes.
No.
So it just makes me fearful that they kind of use that as a possible promotion technique or possible plot line. That
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it either, and I wonder if this is because Mike Judge is putting out another Beavis and Butthead movie too. So, and I wonder if this is just another excuse for him to play with his toys. So, because he doesn't own Beavis and Butthead outright, or I don't know if he bought it back or not.
Yeah, he may now, but he didn't back then.
So I wonder if that's kind of the case with his characters on King of the Hill too.
It's more of the wait and see kind of thing.
Yeah.
I believe the whole Trump comment was probably just a throwaway line.
I hope so.
Because a lot of people are using that now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm doing this because blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, the fuck you're not.
Because even the heavy political episodes, even back then, on rewatch, I was just like, like the voter episode.
Yeah, and
that wasn't one of the greater episodes of that season.
But it also, that whole episode hinged on a joke.
Yeah.
Limp-wristed George Bush.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, I don't know. I would maybe actually feel a little bit more confident in it if they were doing the Beavis and Butthead route. They're doing another movie. Mm-hmm. They're doing a self-contained 1.5 to 2 hour adventure. So they're not going to have to keep up consistency and do another long-form multiple season. Let's put the boys through multiple scenario things. They can take the time, think through every little joke, every little thing, and make it as good as possible. Maybe if they just did that with King of the Hill instead of trying to do another series. I feel like the series is maybe where it's going to fall flat.
I think it'd be nice if they did a mini series.
I think
There
so.
you go.
A solid.
Just nothing too long.
Yeah, I'm just like a solid 5 to 8 episodes, hour long each.
Yeah, max.
Yeah, not even an hour long, probably 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Like WandaVision, just cut it short. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. I think my overall fear on that would be them just trying to do it for too long and too much.
I mean, they already did it for too long and too much.
But you still
That's what we're getting into today.
and like bring back some old tropes, they had that got them going. Like do a PSA at the end of one. That'd be fucking hilarious.
Have Bobby doing the PSAs now.
Especially if they're going to do 15 years because he'll probably be 30.
That's the one thing I'm actually kind of excited for. Is he'd be in his late 20s, mid 30s. In that time period, I would love to see adult Bobby trying to be a dad and seeing how much of Hank's mannerisms he wound up picking up over the years. That's the show I want to see.
Give or take Hank's age, he'd probably be only 55.
Yeah.
And Peggy probably be 50 maybe.
Yeah.
No, she'd be closer to about 54, 53.
Yeah, because they went to the same school together, so.
Yeah, rival schools.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, rival schools.
Hank was the
See,
bully.
that's why I'm not doing the fucking trivia. I'm pulling together the questions. I'm not doing the answers.
Chris is just looking at me like, I got you, bruh.
All fucking day. All fucking day, son.
Well, before we get into that one, we might as well have some fun and talk about our top 5 worst in no order episodes from seasons 10 through 13.
Yep.
We had? Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the last one, it was the top 5 best, and I only had like maybe 3 or 4. I have a lot more for top 5 worst.
Yeah.
So I actually put a lot in this one with the idea that we may cross over because there were just a lot of stinky episodes in this last
Totally.
little
We
bit.
had a lot to choose from.
Yeah. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, Cap, what you got?
From season 10, Edumacating Lucky.
Oh,
I had that one too.
Yeah.
really strong Lucky episode.
No, there's not really a strong Lucky episode, period.
Well,
you
the
know?
reason I personally didn't like it is not necessarily because it wasn't a strong Lucky episode. It's one of the worst Peggy episodes ever.
Yeah, which like she tries to screw over his education process and wants him to get the wrong answers so that he
Yes.
doesn't get a marriage license.
It's literally family sabotage, and I'm just like, good God, of all the fucking bullshit things Peggy's done throughout
But
the
that
years.
happened, like, their whole demographic of, the family and strong, strong family values and all this stuff. It degrades through these 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And it's just like, God.
Yeah, really.
Like,
And
they're not pro whatever the fuck they were first 9.
in awfully cartoonish ways too, kind of like this, where they kind of give the most extreme example of somebody doing something like
And
this.
it's like, yeah, sure, she learns her lesson before the end and, makes it right for him. But at the same time, it's like, at what cost, though?
But like, why would Peggy even do that to begin with? She's, Luann has someone that can provide. Like, why the fuck would she sabotage her own family, especially her family?
And an educator.
Yeah.
So that was, honestly, if I have to rank it, that might be in the top
Like,
3
Peggy's
of the ones I listed.
Peggy's done a lot of dumb shit, but damn, that's fucked up.
It's cold. all Lucky wanted to get was a GED.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it seems like because...
Which is weird anyway, that you have to have one to have a marriage license.
I know, right?
Yeah, I don't know how that works in Texas, or if that was even what they went by, or if they just made up their own laws for the show.
And the other interesting thing is so if we want to look at it from an actual writing standpoint, Peggy's big issue with Lucky was that he was uneducated and unfit to marry her niece. So if what he's trying to do is better educate himself and better himself, she should be looking at that going, oh, well, he cares about her enough to make these changes. Well, he might be a pretty decent guy then. He's trying to put his best foot forward now that I've laid down the rule.
Doesn't Hank kind of make that point to Peggy too?
Yeah, we would have to fucking have Hank say that. When in reality, because, again, it just seems like Peggy would understand that being an educator. Yeah, I don't like that.
It seems like that if everyone else had found out what she was doing, there'd be a lot of ire toward Peggy. Like, people would probably just stop talking to her.
I feel like
because that's a very big thing to do. They make fun of Bill. They make fun of Dale. There's all this other stuff, but I see that as like an event that'd be like the last fucking straw.
Yeah,
You would think.
For Hank even, but like. No, you meddled in someone's life to ruin it and to ruin the life of one of your family members.
your own blood.
Yeah,
it
that's
wasn't
it.
even like step family.
People
member.
like this guy. There's nothing. He's not a hateful man. There's nothing evil about Lucky.
He's a little slow. He's a
But
redneck.
there's no negative characteristics in Lucky at all.
No,
Because he's Tom Petty.
Yeah.
and even in the episode where he was introduced, he didn't really do a lot of the illegal activities, like breaking into the store. He didn't throw any bricks. He kind of just laid back, and I feel like that may have been a conscious decision on the writers or Mike at the time to kind of make sure he kind of fell in the back and didn't do a lot of horrendous things. That way he could be the redeemable redneck in the end.
Yeah. He's just a good old boy.
Yeah, exactly. And there is nothing wrong with that. And they made a really good... Because Lucky was one of my favorite characters they introduced later on. They did such a good job with him kind of showing, yeah, he's a little dumb, he's a little slow, but damn it, he's got his heart in the right place. And in a town like that needs to count for something.
That's kind of all the development they do for Lucky's character too. They just like, oh, he's a lovable redneck, and that's it.
Well, because the season he was introduced, what was supposed to be the last season anyway. So, you know, they really weren't trying to give him much character development. Then they gave him 3 more seasons after, and they're like, okay.
What do we do now?
What do we do with the character we didn't plan to give any sort of character development to?
Say, hey, Tom, you want to come in make for a few extra bucks, get some Fox money?
Yeah. Yeah, do it. Is any other segments on that episode, Cap, that we didn't touch on that kind of irked you?
Not really. We basically that's all there is really to cover about that one. That's the thing about all these episodes too, is that there's not really much to cover. You got your plot points that suck, and that's about it.
Very one-dimensional.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Chris, what would be one for you?
Well, one of my top 5 worst is probably the one fans hate the most is Hank's bully.
I had that one in there too.
That's in the same season, isn't it?
That's like out of the entire like fan community, that's the worst. Like that's the one everyone hates the worst.
I don't know. I feel like I'd hate the Lucky one a little bit more than Hank's bully, but the Hank's bully is still just so annoying. I hated that one as a kid watching it, going, oh my god, I would beat this kid's ass.
Yeah. It's messing up his lawn and everything.
And like even the secondary story in that didn't save it. It was Dale and Peggy with the squirrels.
Yeah.
And it was such a weird episode because they added that part in there.
And Dale just gets more and more cartoony in the later seasons too.
Man, I just
even though I know he's a fucking cartoon, but still.
But it goes from a little bit of realist to slapstick.
Yeah,
you know, like Bugs Bunny type shit. Mm-hmm. But nah, man, just this fucking episode is just at no point in the episode does it get resolved. Really, the whole point, he's just riding on his grass. He's trespassing to begin with. The kid's trespassing, talking shit, and all this stuff can be let go as like childish bullshit, kind of like the episode they did where the guy was scaring everyone.
Yeah.
He could have had Bobby go out there. Mm-hmm. At no point does Hank even think about, hey, Bobby, punch this kid in the fucking face. He's on my property. Punch him in the fucking face.
Yeah.
Because what he is doing is he's been told multiple times, back the fuck up. Mm-hmm. And his parents are those laissez-faire fucking parents who weren't worth a fuck.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Canadian parents.
Yeah, the Canadian parents.
I remember that.
But they were just, laid back with all the bullshit he was doing. And then they bring the cops involved.
That annoyed the piss out of me, too.
Which escalated very quickly. And
the Fred Willard cops.
Even the cops are very bad at their job.
Yeah, and fussing at Hank.
They're like, look, motherfucker, I want him off my property. That's all I want. Yeah. And they're treating Hank like some miserous old man. Uh-huh. And
it's that same shit as with the old lady episode. Yeah. They call in the cops and they're like, what do you mean? It's just a kid. It's just an old lady.
But there was one plot point or one point in the episode where I would have been, if I was Hank, I would have walked over to Joseph's house or Dale's house and like, I need Joseph.
Yeah. See, I want to see that episode.
I'll give you a beer.
See, I want to see that episode. It's like Hank trying to toughen Bobby up, and Bobby's just kind of like, I don't know what to do with my fist, Dad. And then he goes into, gets Joseph.
I can see that escalating quickly based on the first episode, where Hank's like, shadow boxing fucking Bobby, and that fucking hippie's on the bus. He's like, look, he's beating that son. And he's beating his son. He's like, shut up, twig boy. But like,
you left yourself open, Dad. Whack.
Yeah, I'll be short on this, but it's such a terribly written episode.
It really is.
And I want to say it's right before yours. It came out.
It was.
Yeah.
And the other part I didn't like about it is you were saying, like, it didn't really get resolved. The way it got resolved was Hank just had Bobby act like a brat and
fuck their property up.
Yeah, and fuck their property up. And it's just like, okay, that's one way to resolve it, but like the parents really didn't learn anything. The kid didn't really learn anything.
There's a lot.
The only thing
it was a very cheap get out.
It was a ploy. Yeah. The only thing that kind of makes it okay was the dad's like, oh, I see what's going on.
Yeah.
And he's like, get the fuck in the house.
Yeah.
Which isn't going to last long.
No. Because that you could tell by the way they set it up, that kid runs the house. I've had friends that I've gone to their house and I'm like, oh, you run this place. Like it's one that always baffled me. And I think that's also why episodes like this annoyed me. I would never have dreamed of being a kid like that. When I went to a friend's house, it was yes ma'am, no sir, all that stuff. Thank you. It's like they gave me a water. They gave me a fucking glass of water. It was thank you very much. Shit like that. And then I'd go to some friend's house and they'd be like, Mom, we're hungry. Make pizza. And I'm like, oh my God, if I had ever talked to my mother like that, I would never get a fucking thing again. So I think that's why that episode just annoyed me, as I'm just like, God, I hate this.
No, that was pretty bad.
And fuck it, let's keep it going with the season 10 hate. One of mine from season 10 was a portrait of the artist as a young clown, which was when Bobby goes to clown college.
And that's kind of should have been a Dale, or not a Dale, but a Bill episode.
Yeah,
I feel like it could have been a Bill episode at least.
It really does. I didn't like this one because it started out fine, because it seemed like Bobby was trying to, figure out his calling. Oh, there's clown college? That feels
like
perfect
you and his
for
parents
me.
are like, yeah, that's what he's good at. Let's like. And it's the golden age of fucking going to college. It's cheap as fuck, and you can take just the one class.
Yeah. So it's like it started out fine, but how it got wrapped into that weird avant-garde kind of fucking what is a clown, what is comedy kind of thing.
And he's doing this whole like French noir bullshit.
Yeah, the instructor in particular is very obnoxious.
That's Paul F. Tompkins.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah.
The comedian.
One of the funniest fucking dudes I've ever seen on like internet-based shows.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Oh, he's hilarious. But they make him be this piece of shit comedian.
And that to me is when the episode just goes off the rails. It's like it had the start of something good, because you could still make it slapsticky. Let's just say the clown college was like a legit clown college, and Bobby was really getting into the makeup. And okay, maybe have them go down the path that they did with Bill, where Bill stayed in the fucking Santa costume all the time. Yeah. Now Bobby's staying in the clown makeup all the time, and shit like that.
And there's no callback to him being a rodeo clown at all.
Exactly. So it's like they could have. I think that's why this one landed on the list, is there was so much potential with the episode, and then they just went so exactly what you said, Cap. They went so sitcom with it instead of life with it.
And they do that a lot in the later seasons. Where they pull, like I'd mentioned before, where they pull in a bunch of characters that have nothing to do with how the show started, like say the Fred Willard cop, or like the Strickland propane employees.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like extra. They're just kind of there, and they don't really add to anything. And stuff like this, like stories like this, wouldn't have happened in any of the early seasons at all. No, they just go too over the top with it.
And especially because we even saw, like in previous seasons, Hank would usually get Bobby out of that trouble before he got too deep in. At no point in time did Bobby want to show off his act to his parents before the talent show, or before the thing, before he starts really embarrassing himself on stage. It's like it took Hank being on the side of the stage, tossing him the whoopee cushion, to actually get the laugh. And it's just like, it feels like they found out too late. It feels like Bobby would have been more excited about it, wanted to show them earlier, and they would have found a way to possibly curb that sooner.
Yeah, because Hank would have been 3 words. What the fuck?
Yeah,
exactly.
It feels like correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't bother rewatching these seasons at all, but didn't it turn into a situation of they found out right before he was about to go on stage? Like he didn't show them, or like they didn't have any sort of Bobby, you might want to rethink kind of thing.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, so very poorly written episode.
And structured as Hank Hill is, he would have been like, all right, let's see what you got before we put you on stage.
Considering they were also excited for him in the beginning of the episode. Yeah, bad writing. Cap, what you got for us?
Cops and Robert I didn't like at all when Hank
gets the wallet.
Yeah, gets the wallet.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I almost put this in my favorites.
Really?
I almost did. I kind of like this episode a lot.
I mean, it's kind of like it's a Hank episode, and I didn't like it just because it was just kind of like a silly.
It's just
silly.
like a Dale doppelganger kind of.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
What I liked about it, at least, was he felt like the embodiment of YouTube comments.
Yeah.
He felt like the embodiment
Yeah.
of like the cesspool of Facebook.
Yeah.
He wanted to be the taxi driver character. You see him like watching it on the TV.
He wanted to be the cool guy.
Yeah, he wanted so bad to be the cool, tough guy. And all of a sudden, he just finds the one thing that's going to push him over the edge. Someone stole his wallet or mugged him for his wallet. And even that lead-in was kind of funny because Hank is very much in character when that all transpires. the whole "I'm gonna kick your ass, give me my wallet" thing. He feels so annoyed and so dejected by the fake signature that Peggy got swindled by a fake signature, and then they wouldn't take the refund. He hates this new area of town, and then he thinks he gets mugged. So that is perfect in Hank Hill character for him to be on, like, right on that tipping edge of "I'm gonna kick your fucking ass right now."
I just thought this episode was just super silly, but you do bring a good point where it's just like Hank is still, very much Hank Hill in this episode.
Yeah, he felt kind of in character, even to the point of as soon as he realized, he was like, "Oh, I'm a mugger." He wasn't just like, "Uh-oh." He was just immediately like, "I am the worst person imaginable," and tries to fix it, and only by fixing it makes it worse. Yeah. And that's what I found funny about it, is in moments like that, it felt sitcom-y, but the right kind of sitcom-y, if that makes sense.
It kind of calls back to how Hank overanalyzed all of the porn around the porn tape that he allegedly bought or whatever, or put a credit on or whatever it was.
And I like the B plot of Dale trying to work at the Hooters, basically, in town, because very rarely does the A and B plot cross over.
Yeah.
And this one did in the third act. The boys run into the Hooters lookalike and use that as a distraction with Dale working there
That's
to
true.
help them get away. So very rarely does the A and B plot really cross like that. So I enjoyed that moment too.
How does Dale get the Hooters gig?
He's trying to, he got the Hooters gig because he's trying to sue a large corporation for sexual discrimination.
That's what it was.
And he was working in there, and he's just like, you don't have any restaurant experience, this, that, and the other. He goes, "Well, yeah, but I just want to be a server," this, that, and the other. He goes, you don't really seem qualified. He's like, "Why? Because I'm a male?"
Of course.
And he just kind of looks him up and down and goes, "Okay, you're hired." Click. And he's like, "What?" Oh, fuck. Yeah, he's like, "Oh, shit." I wasn't expecting this. But then winds up getting, like, the most fucking tips because he's broing out with the tables.
Yep.
Doesn't he feel he's pissing off all the other waitresses and shit?
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Sorry, sweetheart, they like me."
I forgot about the B plot of that. But yeah, that was just on my list just because I thought it was just, super silly, and I was probably in a bad mood from watching. It was like it's in a long string of like silly episodes.
What season was that?
Season 12.
Okay. No, I could understand that. And honestly, unless y'all wound up picking it earlier, it feels like everything from y'all's picks were season 10. I didn't have any season 11 picks for my bad.
I didn't either.
I did.
Okay. Well, Chris, what's your season 11 pick for bad?
Peggy's Gone Pots.
Which one was that one?
She uses Tupperware to con people into buying houses. All right, she becomes a real estate agent.
Right.
And you remember, not me and what's his, what are the other Asians' characters' names?
Con, not, what's the country club guy's name?
Yeah, the country club guys. But anyway, his wife, Chang Wasana-song's wife.
Yes. The one to Sana-song's.
Got Peggy roped into a pyramid scheme of cozy kitchen.
I remember that, but I forgot that it was to tie in to Sell with Houses, because the only one I remember with that was the actors.
Yeah, well, the whole point was she got tied in with that. And she used her real estate license to go into like gated communities and solicit.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, you're right.
And then the whole gated communities kept having to change their codes and shit.
And this
I remember that one.
And this isn't the same one where she's going to houses and the neighborhoods around them get immediately gentrified, like for the quinceanera and all that.
No, this
is a different episode.
This is the one where she's using her real estate, cards and stuff to get into, to sell houses, but she's not using it to sell the house. She's using it to get into rich people's
neighborhoods to sell Tupperware.
Yeah, to show bullshit pans and shit.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the reason there's gated communities is to keep those, door knockers out of your area. But since she works real estate, she's
she has to go inside.
Wait, this ain't something real for you. Oh, damn, this is couch potatoes.
So let's dive into that industry.
Racial politics of fucking home ownership.
But no, I didn't put that in any of my worst lists, mainly because that one just kind of felt forgettable to me. It didn't offend me on these don't feel like my characters level. That felt like some bullshit Peggy would pull.
Yeah, there's a lot of. That's the thing about these later seasons too. There's a lot of utterly forgettable ones.
Yeah, and that was my problem doing my best of list. is because I was like, well, I guess I could put that in my favorites. I guess I could put that in my favorite. There was a lot of I guesses.
Right.
Like honestly, the Hank's Wallet one, I almost put in the favorites. I was like, I guess I could put that in.
That's the thing too. It's just like, oh, it's good, but you know.
Yeah, it didn't hit a good enough chord with me to be a favorite.
And that's a damn shame too.
And honestly, man, I wish I could comment more on your episode, Chris. It's so forgettable for me.
It's a pass through episode.
Yeah,
like it's one of those episodes like when it would come on because I rewatched the whole season and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's one of those like, oh man, I gotta walk my dog. I guess I could feed her again. Yeah,
I could just skip this episode.
I just let it play in the background. Then when I know it, and then like go through my phone and be like, I don't know that person anymore. Click.
Or just like, I can catch up on emails and shit.
Yeah, this is the one where if you've been watching it with your girl, it's like, this is the make-out episode. And then you get back to watching the next episode.
What we missed? Nothing? Okay, cool.
Oh, this one sucks. Come here. All right, I have a feeling this might have made y'all's list, but another one for the negative on me is Death Picks Cotton.
Yeah, I was going to wait till the end to talk about that one, but let's go ahead
and whip that one out. Let's whip it out. Death Picks Cotton, season 12.
I can see why people would hate it. It's not on mine.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it because, they got rid of a character.
Yeah, but
which is hard to do.
Do they get rid of the character the right way, though?
Yeah. It does have some of my favorite lines in it from the entire show.
Yeah.
Was, I don't want a son that loves me.
Yeah.
But, like, it's Peggy Heel versus Cotton.
Yeah, again, for the last time.
And she just goes off on him, which I love, actually.
Yeah.
And he just does that laugh. Oh, Hank's wife. Yeah. He never called her by her fucking name. He only called her a name one time, and it was Hillary.
Yeah. Well, see, I completely agree with your points of why you like it. And those are the things I like about the episode, too. But since we have been dissecting it and kind of realizing just how good the writing was in these earlier seasons, let's take that same plot point. He can still have a PTSD moment. But all the hospital scenes... I wish they had pulled this one small thing, it probably would have been a favorite episode. If Cotton had given Hank the moment of the I love you, or the moment of, relief for him, but when he saw Peggy, he was like, so he bought it? Yeah. He reveals to Peggy that he was still being a shyster. She gets to have her last moment with him because she just disrespected her husband for the last fucking time.
Yeah.
She gives him the what to, and then he dies. But Peggy still decides to keep it hidden from Hank, so Hank has his moment. I think that writing would have been really good. Let Peggy have it to where she has that little secret that Cotton was still being a little shithead. But Hank doesn't know it, so he can move forward. But we still get all the little moments like we were talking about, Chris, where, Peggy... And honestly, for it being in one of my negatives, it does have one of my favorite Dale moments.
Yeah.
Where he blows up the goddamn shed and says, that was for you, Colonel! And goes running down the street. I love that moment. That felt like such a classic Dale moment. And all of these other moments, I just feel like a different Dale.
Well, go back to the blowing up of the shed. That's how Peggy gets out of the whole Tupperware business.
Oh, yeah, it was. So it's even a callback to that.
She has Dale blow up they both run into the shed.
Yeah.
And it blows up and they disappear. And there's like, oh, fuck, I can't make this dead woman. But I did find it, like, there is a weird moment of why he's in the hospital of shrimp.
Yeah. Well,
how does a man go from fighting in World War II to now not knowing he's allergic to shellfish?
Yeah, really.
Well, I think
especially if it was in Japan.
I thought what had happened was he was starting to get a flashback.
Yeah,
he gets up on the hot griddle, his shoes start to slip, and then basically anything could have gotten lodged in his throat. I thought they just kind of popped something in his mouth, and at least it was implied to me that it just got lodged in his windpipe.
Because I remember the doctor saying like, oh no, he had it caused an allergic reaction in his throat. And it swelled shut.
Okay, got it.
And I'm just like, it's very odd to do like an allergic reaction to kill Cotton Heel, not a hardcore infarction or some form of angina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because honestly, yeah, I mean, even, again, go back to the writing. They could have played that so much better. Still have him have his PTSD moment in the hibachi place, but exactly what you said. He just kind of clutches his chest and, hell, leans over, accidentally burns his face a little bit, and they have to, like, get him up real quick, like, oh, shit, like that, and then they move forward.
Yeah, and the whole his wife being gone is weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Fake tits. That,
Tilly.
Tilly. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no, that was, that's Hank's mom. Fuck.
Oh God, what is
Dee
Dee? That's what it was.
Dee.
But yeah, for me, it just kind of felt like they just kind of wrote them off, where it was just it was on my list, and I'll pick something different other than that. Not that we're covering it.
Did they even show good Hank GH much and all that? Or they just kind of
after this, you don't see any part of that family.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Cotton's just gone.
No, Dee Dee. Yeah, once Cotton's gone, even when they bury Cotton in that weird way.
Yeah.
No mention of Dee Dee, no mention of GH. Apparently, she just moved.
I know that I think they made one mention of that, like
One line of dialogue. Gone.
I think it was in the episode where they tried giving the Cadillac to Dusty Hill. I think they explained it away on that one. He says something like, "Well, where's Dee Dee and the baby?" He's like, "Dee Dee moved away, yada yada," and then like that was it.
So yeah, it's just kind of I didn't
Even though Hank took all that time to help him get back with her and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And Cotton's such a dynamic character with that entire family and that entire neighborhood too, and just kind of
like the whole burying thing. They didn't even bury him at his plot.
No.
That's
the main plot, a plot point that
Yeah.
was very
And
important in the early episodes.
Cotton's plot. That was the name of the episode. Like, what the fuck? Y'all threw that away?
Yeah.
That's just people being lazy.
Yeah, so again, I find that a lot of my least favorite episodes were episodes where they had potential but just fucking ruined it. And this one, Cotton was one of my favorite shitty characters on the show, and it just felt like they did not give him a good send-off.
I agree, and it was just so quick and rushed. I feel like they just didn't give. Not only did they not give the audience a chance to breathe, but they didn't really give them a reason to breathe either. They're like, really, like this?
Yeah,
Like, I don't feel anything.
The two moments I can glean from is Chris's moment of Peggy getting in her final shot, and then Dale blowing up the shed at the end. Those are the two moments that I like.
But even then, it's just kind of like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, exactly.
I put we talked about this on the last episode, but strangeness on the train for me was just utterly silly.
Yeah.
Even though it was kind of one of your favorites.
Yeah, so we intentionally kind of made sure that you didn't talk about the things you didn't like about it. So what did you not like about the episode?
Again, just the ridiculousness of it, and seeing these characters kind of act out a Knives Out whodunit scenario on a murder mystery play. It just kind of felt like a fan fiction episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. I would say all the characters are at least still written like themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe except for Hank. Because even though we were making the joke about Hank fucks,
Yeah.
that is still a little bit out of his character to be that presumptuous with Peggy in a public place.
No, I thought the characters for that scenario were written pretty well because if you want to make like a fake scenario like that, which
Classic
to me,
Luann ruining the whole start of it with her ignorance.
yeah. But it's just one of those deals where it's this is Arlen, Texas, and they're on a fucking I don't know. It's just a lot of things that just felt real silly about it.
That doesn't fit the scene of Texas.
It doesn't.
No, I totally get that, and I think a good comparison would be.
It's like what Family Guy would do, not King of the Hill. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's even better. I was going to say it's an example of kind of like what Archer was doing with the dream seasons, how
Exactly.
they didn't fit in. It felt like the writers just wanted to do something different. Well, what's a different way to get them in a change of scenery so we can get creative?
Yeah,
okay, fuck it, we'll put them on a train.
Exactly.
It's an old like Agatha Christie mystery novel kind of thing.
Yeah.
It gets really lazy because that's not what the show is.
Yeah. Although I will say, even in these bad episodes, there's always a little something good to kind of pull from it. I like the very end, how they're all trapped in their disco gear and they run across that old biker saloon. And they walk in, and at first they're kind of like giving them these looks of, who the fuck are you guys being here in my goddamn bar? And then right as they're about to fucking turn heel, fucking bartender goes, "Disco's back, baby! Hold on, let me get my turntable." And I'm just like, hell yeah. And like everyone just kind of gets into it and has a fun night. I like that moment. But the rest of the episode, I like a lot, but I would have to say that'll be my number one pull to be like, that's my argument of the good parts of the episode. But I do understand where you're coming from on the cap.
Yeah, so
I don't have to 100% agree with you though.
what you got, Chris?
Master of Puppets, season 13.
I'm scrolling through that season right now.
Episode
Actually,
10.
I almost put that one, but I didn't.
It's
Mainly because I had a lot anyway.
it's just when I first saw, I remember this is one of those episodes I guess I had missed growing up, but I had finally watched it. I was like, when I saw the title, I was like, it's a fucking badass title name. Okay,
Right.
we're gonna do a Metallica cover. Okay, what is this about? And it's just about Bobby gaslighting his fucking parents because they accidentally left his ass. And I don't
Remember
know.
that time you were supposed to meet me at 5 o'clock, Mom?
But yeah, like, I don't know if this ever happened to y'all. Like, your parents probably like forgot to pick you up at a certain time. It's happened to me a few times.
I'm sure it's happened.
But
I can't
at
remember
no
right
point,
off.
at no
Same.
point, do you think? And I imagine that's terrifying for a parent. Probably like, oh fuck, where's Bobby go? But Hank and Peggy were having a good time the whole time.
Yeah.
They just got sidetracked.
Yeah.
He was okay. Mm-hmm. He goes to the In-N-Out Burger outside the mall because he got
Exactly.
stuck at the mall.
Yeah.
And he's just like being an ass about it.
Yeah.
Like he was being like mad they forgot about him. It's like, Bobby, you have a fucking family structure of an entire neighborhood.
Yeah.
You were fine. At any point, you can call multiple numbers of those people. Mm-hmm. And he's not dumb. He knows the phone numbers. Like,
And it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, even though Khan hates their asses, if it wound up being a situation of life or death, even Khan would have gone to pick fucking Bobby up.
because he would have held it over Hank.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can
Exactly.
save your boy. I'm better father than you. He would have totally jumped on that.
I want your number one dad cup. I want your mug, Hank. Because he actually earlier he's like, I want the mug. I saw the mug.
could you put Khan in a King of the Hill reboot now with the original
Yeah.
voice?
Yeah, well,
That's what I'm saying.
everybody gets all bitchy. Hey,
That's what I'm saying.
Why didn't you get an Asian guy to do the Asian accent? I was like, because there was nobody available, motherfucker. Fuck. Jesus Christ! You mean get the guy who was in fucking Apocalypse Now to come over and do
Yeah,
that
really.
shit?
But yeah, it felt like they started writing Bobby a lot more bratty
Yeah,
in
he
these
is very
later
bratty in these
seasons.
seasons.
Because there was
Because
this one, there was the one where he stole the credit card.
Yeah, that was the whole when he buys all that shit. But Hank and Peggy catch on very quickly on what he's doing, and they're like, "Oh, Bobby, we're going to take you to a concert," and he's like, "We're going to go with you."
Yeah.
That way, because he's putting on the act. He's like,
This way we
"Oh,
won't leave you.
Yeah, we'll never leave you. We'll be here for you forever,
They're like
Bobby."
snuggling, and Peggy's like hugging all over him, and then Hank's like, "Come on, Bobby, let's go do this." He's like,
Yeah.
"Fuck."
It kind of reminds me of like when they were in the caves
Yeah.
and like they're pulling Bobby out and like they're pulling him out and fucking Peggy just latches onto him like a fucking like she's trying to get a grenade and the fucking thing starts glowing back down.
Right.
Yes, that's just an episode I don't like. It's out of character for Bobby to like straight trick his parents all like for that long. He's done stuff like that before, but not to that degree.
No, he's anytime he did trickery in the early seasons, it was almost an innocent trickery.
Because he didn't know.
Or even the ones where he did know. I'm trying to remember. There was one in like season 1 or 2. It may have been
That's the first episode.
It may
He
have been the
tricks-
prosthetic head episode, something. Either way, he was trying to hide something from Peggy, and there was like a bunch of fast talking back and forth, like, why? Nothing, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but that was the like the first episode of all like, yeah, I'm still keeping this
This act going.
so my dad will love me. Mm-hmm. But he's playing ignorance because he doesn't know the consequences.
Exactly. By this point, this version of Bobby understands consequences.
Yeah.
And he's still deciding to be a little shithead about it. Yeah, I don't like when Bobby does that shit.
No, I got a Bobby episode later on in my list too.
And I got this one mainly because I don't like the title, because the title doesn't match the episode name or the episode description at all. But it was Season 12, Accidental Terrorist, where Hank buys a truck at sticker price.
Yeah.
And finds out that he's getting swindled on everything. And I don't like this one because of especially how much in the past episodes we've talked about how good Hank is with money.
Right.
And how street smart he is. He's a lot smarter than he kind of leads on. This episode completely
Makes him look like a dumbass.
Yeah.
it completely undercuts it. And I do not like that. That neutered Hank's one thing he had really going for him, because otherwise he's kind of an average kind of dude. But the one thing he's kind of got going for him is he can smell through bullshit.
Yeah,
and he can get the better deal.
Like Hank's thing is that he's got one over everybody, and whether everybody's aware of it or not.
Yeah, but outside of that, he's an average dude. And this completely dumbed him down. And I did not care for that. And that reason alone is why it made my top 5 my list at all.
Because
it made the list.
Like,
Chris Jericho pulls out.
You can actually do it. Like, these 4 seasons don't honor the writing of the first 9, because Hank's truck fucks up. Mm-hmm. Bobby tells him about this dealership, blah blah blah. This happens, and even Hank's like, "Hey, don't say you like the truck, because I'm gonna haggle this motherfucker down."
Yeah,
Literally did it in that episode. That was the end of the stinger.
In a long look at it, I see it more as, for him, it's like, let's see what's that. You got a brand new truck, brand new car. Let's see, that's about 5 coffins. I'd have to, 5 coffins. That's how he measures money. And like side work he does with like everybody else, because I know they joked about the whole credit card and everything, and
yeah,
their credit's probably great and everything. They're probably sitting on some pile of cash in their savings anyway, because of all the weird shit he gets involved in, like the whole boat situation.
Well, it's like you would think, but then like when episodes like the insurance episode happens, he acts like they have $1,000 in their bank account.
Yeah,
Well,
that's just him being paranoid, like a miser.
Yeah,
like, oh shit, it's all coming down. Like, no, it's just him being paranoid as fuck.
Yeah,
because think of all the things throughout the show that they have owned and moved on to.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Especially in those early seasons, renting all that big, heavy gear, like all those forklifts and fucking
backhoes.
Thank you.
This is all shit for
I'm
Hank's
over here
yard.
fucking miming it because I can't think of the goddamn word. I'm like, this thing.
Yeah. He saves so much money. He fixes his own house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even getting involved against inspectors and stuff.
He's his own guy.
He's his own
craftsman.
He's a master of none. He's good at a lot of things, but never a master of one single thing.
Yep.
Except for propane.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
Still has a guy for everything.
Yeah.
And for the fact that like he seems so, because I think it was like getting Peggy a new car or something like that.
Yeah, that's for Peggy.
Yeah. Getting Peggy a new truck or getting a new car, and he like walks out with this big old grin on his face. He's like, "I paid sticker price, Peggy, and not a penny more."
But
And I'm like, really?
But when we were talking about like our favorite episodes, one of them was haggling against a salesman over a fucking real estate deal in Mexico.
Yeah.
They don't even honor that. Like the whole, like, if I would understand it if they wrote Peggy and went and bought a car.
Yes.
Because she's done with money and buys shit without Hank's approval. Like
Yes.
a bookstore, being a real estate agent, fucking around with Hank's money. And it's Hank's money.
Yeah.
It's Hank's money.
Peggy's a substitute teacher and is shitty at real estate.
As I quote the great Hank Hill, I am the Mac Daddy of Hamlet County. He's running whores, but that was his whore money. He sold a bitch. He literally sold a woman. So that's Hank's money. Hank's money.
That's the title of this episode.
Hank's money. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
But I don't really remember. I remember the start of this episode, but I don't remember where it really goes.
I just remember Con coming out and going like, "Oh, you pay sticker price, like idiot."
Was that really all the episode was? Is everyone just making fun of Hank until he like does something at the end to
Well,
like write it?
I think they go back and haggle it down.
Yeah.
Like, or return the car, and it's just like, even then, it's like he could probably afford the car at sticker price. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
at the end of the day,
it's still a weird way for him to save face.
At no point does Hank even fight back against the company. He's like, why does it matter if I paid sticker price?
Yeah.
I can afford it, you pieces of shit.
Y'all thought I was rich a few seasons ago.
What about you, Boomhauer? Huh? What would you do? You pay sticker price because you don't have a family, motherfucker.
You fuck bitches get money all day.
And what about you, Bill? Huh? What the fuck are you gonna do, you lonely piece of shit?
Buying more Twinkies.
Yeah. Hell, you don't even work to support your family. Your wife supports your family. She owns your van. That's Nancy's dead bug, motherfucker.
All of a sudden, just the whole.
all just get angry as fuck.
Well, I was gonna say, all of a sudden, the alley just gets real fucking quiet.
And you, John Redcorn, I shouldn't have to say it out loud, should I, motherfucker? And then the wind just stops.
Behind him is just Dale going like, yeah, until Hank comes around and just tells like, oh no, Dale. Wait till your turn. Dale just takes a sip.
I would love and to do a callback. He looks at Bobby right before he's about to go off on everybody. And he does a go right to Dale's house real quick. 'Cause I'm about to turk shit to everyone on the block. The block is about to get lit.
Earmuffs.
And the only other one I had on my list, I feel like we may get to. This is close to 5, maybe at this point. I don't know. I
think so.
I had some extras on here, but y'all took them off, so fuck it. I don't care. We're at a good time anyway.
Yeah, let's have some fun with it.
Yeah. We're just talking about the shit that they gave us in these last few seasons. We finally we said enough positive things already.
Yeah.
Another one. I kind of put this on last minute. It almost didn't hit me too bad until I started really thinking on it, and even Peggy is just so written out of character. Uncool Customer is the one where Peggy and Bobby try to become hip and cool because they meet the trendy parents.
Oh God, yeah. That's another one of those where it's like that could have been a Bill episode.
Is this that joke where it's prostitutes?
Yeah.
The prostitutes episode.
And it was just really odd because the only thing that was missing, and the only reason it was missing is it wasn't around at the time, is them taking constant Instagram selfies. That was the only thing that was missing on that episode, but it was just they saw the kind of California lifestyle of the sunglasses and the pastel colors and the chrome and the nice shit, but then they kind of figure out at the end, oh, they just followed trends. Look at all this stuff. They wore this once, and then it goes in the closet. Oh, this is dumb. We shouldn't be like this, folks. Hey, why don't you stop being like this too? Okay, that's a good idea. It went on such a fucking moral fucking, all Peggy had to say was, why are you doing this? Just don't. And they're like, okay, well, we won't. It's like, come on, no. Motherfuckers that are this deep in fucking culture and brands and looking a certain way, you can't just walk up to them and go, well, why don't you not? They care more about their image than anything else.
You probably put that out today and have the mom and kid be in Instagram and kind of make that would probably work.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's why I said the only thing that was missing from this episode from what people still do today is just add the Instagram layer to it. And it was only because it wasn't around by this time the episode was made.
That's such an old fucking trope too. Don't be a slave to trends.
And actually the reason I put this one on here was to follow along with something Cap was saying that he didn't like about these later seasons, which is this didn't feel like they were in Arlen, Texas.
Yeah.
Every time they were around that family, every time they went to the Bobby and Peggy plot point of them hanging out with the cool parents, it did not feel like these cool parents even just recently moved to Texas. It doesn't feel like they belonged in Arlen at all, and it felt very strange. I didn't like it at all. I didn't dig it.
It's like those kind of characters don't really mesh.
No, it's the same thing what you're saying. The Fred Willard cop, how that kind of takes you out every time. This took me out. I was like, this doesn't feel like Arlen anymore.
Which is a shame because I like Fred Willard. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
How'd y'all feel about the Manger Baby Einstein episode where
that was weird.
Fucking John Redcorn is like a producer of like children's DVDs?
Yeah.
I thought I actually kind of used this one in the favorite wrap up. This one didn't necessarily make my favorite, but I certainly didn't dislike it. And the reason I didn't dislike it is it gave Luann a good wrap up. I saw this as Luann's wrap up episode.
What's Luann's baby's name? Don't look at the computer. Look at me.
I love that.
Fuck,
his eyes just immediately bam to the computer. He's
like,
on it.
damn.
Don't look at the computer. Look at me.
I forgot we talked about this last time, but I can't remember the name of the little girl.
Hold on. I almost want to say it's like Mary Jane or something like that. What?
Gracie.
Okay.
Little Gracie.
What about
And they do bring up a really solid point, which is true. Like babies can only see 3 colors.
Yeah.
Really vibrant colors, which is red, black, and white.
Yep.
And I actually tested that out on my nieces because I kept that little tidbit of knowledge.
Yeah.
And so they really loved my Ghostbusters poster. They just loved. They wanted to touch it. They wanted to say everything else. They didn't give a shit about.
Yeah.
But that one and my Jurassic Park poster.
Yep.
Like they would always like if she was crying, I would just hold her and walk up to that poster and let her look at it. And
A lot
she
of
would just
reds.
stop. Yeah, there's a lot of blacks, whites, and reds, man. That's all that's in it.
And see, and I remember figuring that out when my little sister was born, because we were got 10 years apart. So, being 9, 10 years old, looking around at, baby stuff really for the first time, I started noticing all this black, white, and red things. And my first thought was, oh, wow, they've got all this really cool punk rock and roll looking baby toys now. And of course, Mom is filling up the basket with all that stuff because Katie was going to have a black and white room because she knew about this already. I just thought, she was like, yeah, we're being the cool parents. The baby's going to have a black and white room and, this, that, and the other. And she was like, no. The accents, as she explained it to me then. And I was just like, wow, that does not make sense, but okay.
Yeah, you talk about Redcore and transitioning to children's stuff, because it works for him. Because Big Mountain Fudge Cake don't work no more.
Nope.
Yeah, and see, and maybe that's why I didn't have an issue with that, is because even in that episode with the casino, at the very end of that, we see that he goes into children's programming. So it's a little odd for us seeing his adultery and massage therapy and shit like that. But at the same time, if you knew the fucking what CEOs at goddamn Hasbro do, what fucking CEOs at children's toy companies do and children's programming. I mean, fuck, we hear about Dan Schneider from Nickelodeon doing shady shit. John Kukluski or whatever his name is from Ren and Stimpy. So it's like, so for us, it's a little weird seeing it. But at the same time,
even the true story of Shel Silverstein.
Yeah.
Yep.
So at the same
Rest in
time. I guess an adulterer in a neighborhood with some bad casino dealings now getting into children's programming isn't too far fetched.
It's almost like a
just
guy
random.
who buys a theme park and lets 15-year-olds run it.
Yeah, maybe.
What do
maybe
we call it?
similar.
What do we call it? Action Park, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Hey, I drew this loop on a napkin. Make that.
Okay.
We can't. Why? Because it'll be full of teeth, you piece of shit.
Send a few crash test dummies down until the heads quit popping off, and then we'll pay teenagers $100 each until we can make it right. Then it'll be fine.
What got me was we was watching that.
We just need to do an episode on Action Park, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Because we talk about it enough on here, but we hadn't actually done an episode on it.
Action!
I have to rewatch that again. The Bobby episode I had alluded to earlier was The Boy Can't Help It, where Bobby becomes one of the girls.
Yeah.
And Hank's kind of is afraid that Bobby's going to be emasculated by it, which happens. And I feel like this would have been a good, early season episode.
Yeah, to just show that, oh, no, you can still be that. You can still be a man.
Yeah.
But it does get uncomfortable very quickly.
It does.
For Bobby. Because
he's kind of like, oh, do I get to go on dates with these girls? But the girls were just kind of like, oh, no, he's like the...
gay friend.
Yeah, he's the gay
basically.
Essentially.
Yeah. He's the odd man out.
It's taken me a minute to remember that one. That one fell under the, when I was skimming the episodes, that fell under the, I barely remember this episode.
Because Bobby's not a Joseph.
Yeah, basically.
Well, actually, Bobby was the ladies' man for the longest time, but he just doesn't...
Ayo, what was it? Ayo, Jolene Stone Cold Fox, what up?
What up? And can you imagine just someone like Bobby's mentality in Joseph?
Oh, God.
He'd be a fucking slayer, man.
Right.
He'd be the quarterback for Dallas. That's what I want to see. Him at 30 fucking years old.
When he becomes president, like we keep talking about.
Yeah, or Connie being mayor, or like even congresswoman for the District 5 of Texas,
There you go.
And then the B plot for this one's just as random. It's just Hank and the guys building a homeless cart.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, they what was it, like Dale saw like this homeless man's cart all decked out, and then like was starting to build it, and then like the rest of the guys just joined in, and we're just like, it's kind of a weird like slap in the face to homeless people.
Yeah,
a
really.
little bit. Yeah, it's kind of insensitive.
And then
which actually, because again, we're fucking fine ones to talk about something being insensitive, but at the same time, it's odd because King of the Hill never really went insensitive on things. They always went pretty middle of the road.
Yeah, they always kind of took the, what's the term I'm looking for.
Blue collar working man approach.
Yeah, just kind of your everyman approach.
Yeah,
Just like this
and
guy's
blue
just
collar working man doesn't really take jabs at homeless because everyone's kind of seen that light of this could be possible if I don't get my shit in order kind of thing.
exactly. Yeah, normally it's just this guy's your neighbor. He may be a little different, but he's still your neighbor nonetheless. Kind of
Exactly.
approach. But
Exactly.
I don't know. It's just kind of weird that they did that. And I know this is like a third episode in a row, but I just kind of wanted to touch on this one just because I don't think we've talked about it yet. Just kind of as an honorable, a dishonorable mention, if you will. The Canadian Neighbor episode.
Yeah.
Where we talked about it a little bit earlier, where they kind of
Boomhauer's house.
Yeah, because Boomhauer's out for the summer, and he's dating
This
like
is where you hear Boomhauer's name, Jeff.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
oh yeah, because is he with
didn't
the
know
Canadian girl up?
Yeah.
And that's what it was. Okay, and I forget how this happened. Like what was the?
He just ran off?
He just ran off and just hired a Canadian family to watch
Yeah,
his house.
it was people he
like
knew.
an exchange program or some
Well,
shit.
it was people he knew because it's kind of like Airbnb before Airbnb. It's just that he happened to know these people because they call him by his first name.
Yeah.
Because I think Hank had said something. She's like, "Oh no, oh thank you. I'll call Jeff and let him know that you did this." Like they brought him like some food or something. And Hank was kind of excited because he knew people moving in. And
Yeah.
the last encounter he had was the bratty kid he should have murdered.
yeah,
Should have turned into fucking West Memphis right there. Just
yeah,
Who's
right.
the dirty old man full of green dust, motherfucker?
Dirty, dusty old bones full of green dust.
But then they try to like outdo each other as far as having like fucking grill parties.
Yeah.
And that would kind of be the whole thing where it's like Hank's like, "Oh, I'm not going to let a bunch of Canadians out party us, guys. Let's get into battle mode." And it got ridiculous.
Yeah, it got like weirdly pro-American when it just came to fucking barbecue, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
At no point does Hank like fix the situation. Be like, do you guys want to come over, or do you guys want to do a block party?
That's what old Hank would have done. He would have been like,
we're
you
doing
know
a block
what?
party.
Here's a way to unite the neighborhood. You know what? Let's all have a block party. Yeah. Perfect. Exactly, Chris.
We're welcoming new people. Luann and Lucky have that house across the street.
Because, I don't know. Maybe they did that with the Supernusum phones.
Yeah.
So maybe there's even a basis for that character to want to do something like that.
Mr. Khan, my bad.
Yeah, they just kind of forced a conflict for the sake of having a conflict.
Yeah. Chris, do you have any dishonorable mentions or any more left on your list?
Nancy does Dallas.
Really?
I almost put that one on my list too.
I don't like it because Peggy and Bobby do that weird thing again, where they change their whole personalities to fit a fashion.
Yeah.
Because they go to Dallas with her, and the whole premise is: can Dale survive with Nancy out of town?
Yeah.
Yes, she can. And the whole fear was it made Nancy feel small because she's a big fish in a little pond, but she became a news anchor because she's no longer the weather girl. She's an anchor woman.
Yeah.
But she has a skill set, and
She has a particular set of skills.
yeah.
Yeah.
But at no point did anybody acknowledge that. Like, if Peggy was to become an actual teacher, everyone would be like, "Oh, cool," but she has to teach in like Durndal,
Yeah.
or anywhere else. Everybody's like, that's a little rough, but okay, we can make it work. But for Dale, they're like, "Oh no, Nancy, you need to stay because Dale this, Dale that." At no point did they give a chance for Nancy to even go, almost, and they make it look like it. I understand Dale's point of view because he is a meek man.
Yeah.
But he would have been fine.
Yeah.
Like, at least give it a shot before you just destroy the man.
And didn't the way it roll was she runs off to Dallas, she stays on the network for an episode, like for a day or two, but she's like calling Dale, and like the first couple days he's fine, and that's what upset her. And then like something happens where like Dale finds out that Nancy wants to hear that he's not doing good, and then he talks to her. He's like, "Oh, Nancy, I miss you. I want you to come home." This, that, and the other. And then she decides to come home. Is that kind of how the episode ran to an extent?
Yeah,
because like I said, I'm a little bit more foggy on these later seasons. I just didn't.
I
watch
believe
them as
she
much.
stays with it.
Yeah.
I just think she does like the commute, like stays a little while and leaves.
Okay.
But I think she kind of goes out drinking with the anchors, and they
Yeah.
kind of.
Oh yeah.
that
And she
kinda
realizes
pisses
it's
off
not
Dale.
all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And she. That's what it was. Dale is still trying to be super supportive of her the entire time. That's what it was. And then she calls, and Tears like, Suge, I'm on my way home. I don't like it here anymore.
Yeah, there's
Oh, Nancy, okay.
there's a few Nancy episodes in these later seasons. Like there's that one where she loses her hair because she's stressing over John Redcorn.
Well, not just that. It turns out that's a real thing for her, like a genetic thing, because she goes to see her mom, and her mom has
Oh, okay.
a female pattern baldness.
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying
That's what
to
it
kind
was.
of run through the memory banks on my end for kind of least favorite episodes, and I guess just maybe an honorable mention for me would be one of Chris's favorites from the last one, but the final episode, the con episode with the manic depression. I guess that would be my dishonorable mention.
I do find it odd that they're able to hide someone with a major medical issue
For that long.
especially with medication, because sometimes that medicine fails because you develop a tolerance for it.
Yeah, because again, it feels like with how much, and again, this comes down to the writing, and I'm explaining why I don't like the writing on it. It feels like with how much Hank has tried to relate with Con in the past, it would have been mentioned at some point in time.
I would think so.
It feels like all of a sudden, all these years later, they're trying to write in a reason for Con being such a shithead instead of it just being Con's just a shithead. They had to give him a reason, and it's like they had to give him a reason for being the way he is. And now it's just like, just let Con be Con.
Yeah.
Just
let him be a shithead.
Yeah, so that one didn't quite make it, but it almost did. And especially because it was the absolute final episode, new episode aired. And I'm like, really? That's the way you're really going to go out? Okay.
Let's just, and then we talk about, bringing up the revived series of King of the Hill, here in the future. What are they going to do about that? Did they bring that up again?
Probably not. Just like they don't bring up other, important key plot points from, earlier seasons. They'll probably just pick and choose their continuity and pick and choose what has actually happened in the past to be the truth. Let's think about it. How many birthdays did Bobby have?
Yeah.
And then, he only aged, 2 or 3 years in the whole series? So it's like...
They're going to build up to a multiverse. Beavis and Butthead are going to cross over. And
Excuse me. Like out of the birthdays, I remember 3.
Yeah.
3 birthdays. Maybe 4 Christmas episodes.
Okay. I feel like there was more Christmas episodes. It felt like...
Well, there's one. There's a Thanksgiving. There's a lot of them are Thanksgiving episodes.
Okay,
because they come out They come out around the same time. So maybe 3 or 4. So by the time you assume, let's say first season, Bobby's 12, turns 12. By the end, he's a freshman, maybe a sophomore in high school, because he's able to go to a college program.
Right.
At the end. So I assume by that time he's 14, maybe even 15.
I was thinking 15.
Yeah, 15. So if they do the whole 15 years later, he'd be 30, maybe 29, give or take.
Yeah.
Same with Connie and Joseph. They've all be the same age. So if they do it and they do it right, the timeline would match up.
It would.
But it's not like The Simpsons where it's 30 plus years of comedy and it's like Bart's still 12.
Yeah.
And I just talk about that real quick. I just read an article from Forbes saying it is now impossible for an American family to live like The Simpsons.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, a family of 5
With one income.
man, with one income,
Yep.
especially what he does. It's impossible.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, that's sad. Then you're going to tell me people like Beavis and Butthead are living in the high life.
Yeah.
Right.
Technically, they are. They have a couch and they don't pay bills.
Yeah, no shit.
Just watching TV.
That would be funny if they Googled
That's picking up whatever you're doing underneath.
But I think it'd be hilarious if Beavis and Butthead tried to do like a podcast and it just goes terribly wrong.
God.
They just forgot to press record, or they're trying to do an audio bit and they get slapped with a fucking
What do we say?
a cease and desist order from MTV or some shit.
No, it'd be like, so are we supposed to say something? I don't know.
Yeah, Beavis.
Come to Butthead.
Shut up, asswipe.
But they have music played in the background. They get slapped with a cease and desist order.
Well, I feel like that's been the worst episodes for King of the Hill that
Yay.
we all want to bring up. I kind of talked about my dishonorable mention already, and Yeah, so I mean, if there's nothing else you can really think of on here, next time we tune in talking about King of the Hill, it's gonna be
It's gonna be the trivia death battle royale between.
Welcome to the Terradome.
Time to play the game.
I'm really hoping, like, I'm really hoping it works out to like, kind of like that fight from They Live and Keith David and Roddy White Piper. You know, like it's a good match, but I know it's going to be like Hulk Hogan beating the fuck out of a child.
He is throwing so much shade your way. All the
shade.
All right. I'll study up.
I've been knocking out some trivia with old Osborne, man.
Oh yeah,
because he hit me with a few. I'm just like peasant.
I'm just gonna go find all the fucking YouTube King of the Hill trivia bullshit videos I can find.
I've tried almost every trivia on those. And
all those like 101 facts.
Well, like I found one online, a bunch of them online, the quizzes, and it's just like, really, this is the best you can fucking do.
Oh yeah, no.
I was like,
damn.
Chris was like, you fucking peasants.
No. I'll try as best I can to make it hard.
I know you will.
The only ones I won't do is stuff like, what's the episode title for season 2, episode 12. Yeah. I won't do stupid bullshit like that.
Producers and stuff like that.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to do stupid crap like that. I might pull out in episode 2, season 12, we have a character named so-and-so who was the guest vocalist. I may say something like that.
But even that, that's not too deep.
No, but that would be hey, that's in the episode kind of information.
I like that.
That might be like the deepest kind of like personnel cut that I would do. Everything else would be information you should have gleaned or gotten just by watching an episode. That's the kind of facts I'm going to do.
Are we going to do it Jeopardy style again too?
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking through that right now. I'm just wanting to collect a bunch of questions together and then kind of sort through the way I want to do it. I might just go rapid fire. I might just have a stack of cards.
Okay.
And then just fucking, kind of do it like the beginning parts of Family Feud.
Right.
Where they hit the buzzer kind of thing. It just might be the start of Family Feud the entire fucking time. Whoever can buzz in first.
I need to get some King of the Hill stickers. That way I could put my buzzer back together. I was
gonna say, we still got the buzzers from the Halloween episode. I want to get... I fucking paid good money for that shit. I want to use it more.
I thought about bringing in a prize if he does beat me.
Wait a minute. Oh, we'll have to go back on the previous episode. Y'all already gave wagers.
We did. I forget what it was.
Y'all already did a wager at the end of, I think, last week's episode.
On record, too.
Oh, shit.
Or last King of the Hill episode, rather.
I know I was going to get something as a prize.
Yeah.
I think like last time.
Honestly, I think the wager may have been, we'll have to go back and listen to it, but I think the wager may have been you were just going to bring something and then Captus had to think of something to give up.
Yeah.
That may have been
it was something like that.
We'll have to go back and check. But before that episode, I'll have a little segment of that little audio clip of like a previously on Couch Potato.
Right.
For the propane is strong, son.
Just some dramatic music underneath.
Chris is bringing the propane.
Oh. Dun, 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 dun.
But for this episode of the Couch Potatoes, I've been Alex.
Dang old Cap.
Oh, Morrison, man.
Chris, do you have any sort of final thoughts for us?
I'm coming for you, Cap.
Just lightning.
Yeah, just
in the background.
Add the thunder to this. I'm coming for you.
You're not ready.